So I don't know, maybe I should qualify another statement thinking about it as I'm getting ready to live the life by myself, slaughtering songs. Anyways, no, I did make a statement about, before knowing that my husband has a British accent. And I don't know if both of the parties involved of who I have to choose or between and who I will choose is a Brit or not. My whole family's been under MK Ultra stuff my whole life. And, could be just part of that whole thing, all that BS. I do know, like, all I remember about the original prophecy when I was 5 is that I would have 2 men that I would have to choose between, 2 powerful men, whether that's finances, political power, having a voice. Really, like, I just need to be with somebody that's got the resources and the actual care, the actual genuine, true care about the youth of this world and creating a better tomorrow and a better future. That's the biggest thing. But I do remember the end of the prophecy went like this. Stretched ears. They were much bigger than that, so they look weird with earrings. Anyways, I do remember that the prophecy, the way it ended between the 2 men, is that I was to choose the one I was to choose and the choice I was to make, that it had something to do with family and that I would know when the time came. So whether that means family connections and family contracts, I do not know, or whether that means choosing somebody that had a less fucked up family upbringing, could mean that as well. It would really take a lot of faith and divine anointing to actually go with what has already sold out, didn't choose his divine counterpart and divine contract. It's something that would take a lot of healing and a lot of, a tough girl. But like in that aspect, I've thought about that, and I definitely feel like I was raised and prepared for those family dynamics as they were the same as my family dynamics. So I know it's not impossible. I know, and I can't even use the God word anymore these days. It's ridiculous. But with the divine, all things are possible and all things can work together for the good. And I know it would create an amazing and beautiful testimony, all of it. I'm just laughing at my curlers. I have no hairspray, no bobby pins. I found 2, but I don't have the means to get myself ready in the way I'd like. I'm just working with what I have, just like I've always done. Like a true warrior, working with what little bit she's got, spending every minute working with what I got. You guys know about that sort of thing, don't you? It comes through my family line. It comes from my grandpa. Sanford. Remember Grandpa Sanford? Did your sampling in Denver? I remember having lunch with y'all down in Ozarks by Illuminati headquarters. I remember that we had to be well-dressed and on our best behavior because we were going to lunch or dinner with very important people. And it was one of the times that Grandpa actually paid for a nice dinner for his humongous family at a nice restaurant as opposed to Long John Silver's. That actually sounds really good right now. I could use some catfish and hush puppies. They make catfish up north sometimes, but nobody makes hush puppies. You can't have catfish without hush puppies, right? Yeah, I got some Nolans in me. My grandparents met in Houston. I went to college in Tulsa. They retired in Rogers, Arkansas. We'd go to Branson quite a lot. Anyways, that's the rest of my story if you want to, I don't know, check it out. Maybe I should just do another official story like I sort of did with my very first More Gallons video when I very first ever started doing this. Trying to fight for my life, But anyways, back to the prophecy and whatnot. Yeah, it'd be quite the undertaking to repair all this right now. But I am just all about what is meant to happen and what's best for the future and best for the kiddos. And that's really what all that matters. Leaving a good legacy with our lives, right? Right? Being remembered and known for somebody that fought for truth and justice, freedom, stuff like that. But no, it might be that I choose somebody that had a better family life and a kinder family life and a less screwed up family life and a less mind-fucked family life and a little more free of a family life. You know, I've said in other videos, when I compare both sides of my family, I love all my family members. I do. I love them all. And I know that they came from, you know, I have even more appreciation for my grandparents, knowing and finding out what they came from and the type of families that they came from. But even aside from that, my mom's family, I feel like, was even fancier because I'm Swedish princess, but I feel like my mom's family was even fancier than my dad's, but they weren't like that, and they were Catholic, but they were fun. They had their drinking problems, but in the end, they're always family, and things have changed all around with families. Being in this program and being a targeted one, sadly, in the past so many years, what used to be our type of family isn't anymore. We used to have family reunions all the time. Of course, grandma and grandpa are both gone now, but we used to be an actual family. Like, we were so tight. We were such a tight family that, like, every family member tried to show up to weddings and any family event. You know, we'd have them. We used to have like a huge one with all of the cousins and second cousins. My mom was 152 cousins in Billings. They basically kept Billings Central open, but we would fill the top of the Sheridan, and then we would fill the whole Veterans Park, our families, Thielens, Glennons, Frickles, Hanchets, and then my family that came from in Billings was Nelson's, but like after 3 of them ended up dead after the last hanging in Montana, which happened to the dude that killed my great-great-uncle as he was on duty, they took off and they went to Seattle and Denver. And they were Nelsons once they went to America. Nielsen turned to Nelson. And they were Oddfellows. And I think that my other side was too, because I do remember a little bit about Grandpa, like explaining the history to us. And this was stuff that was really important to him before he went, was so that we would all know what we came from. But I do remember him talking about it. And I think I remember, and he would say stuff in sort of a sly way, like, you know, you're supposed to, although I don't. I'm very blunt and direct about it because I'm really tired over the bullshit, and people need to get it. Even if they don't get it, everyone needs to get it. Now, you know, but like, I remember part of his spiel talking about like Isaac Stern's 1631 freeman that was freeman for many years in Watertown, Massachusetts. But he said he was a real odd fellow. So I think I had odd fellow on both sides. Anyways, and they were the cool ones, like, you know, they were the ones that were like less elite and wanted to let the working man in, and also had the first like female first female organization, Daughters of Rebecca. And Daughters of Rebecca honored the lives of the dead, and so I don't think they're cool with people being killed off and, you know, another story, another narrative being told for them being set up to look like they were killed this way or that way when it might not have necessarily been the truth, such as in the case of my Nelson family in Billings. Doctors and lawyers made advancements in the medical industry around the days of Rife, when we decided to go for profit and we decided to make medicine more about money than people's lives. Anyways, the party that I do end up choosing might not be a Brit. I don't know. The thing I do have to say is I have to have extreme strong attraction and love at first sight for that to happen. So that don't go through dating sites. Sorry, karmic manipulation. Don't work that way. And I had a pretty darn strong twin flame past life connection with my twin the last time that I saw him. So I think I've seen him 3 different times now in my life. He came to Butte one night, and we had a night, and ideas were exchanged, and he ended up profiting and benefiting from them. And I ended up targeted and losing my businesses, and have struggled ever since, being vamped and targeted and having my dreams taken from me and whatnot. But I remember that night a little bit. And I remember we had a great time and it was a blast. And I didn't know who he was. I didn't ask to know who he was. I knew he was a rich businessman, and I had assumed he was married. But I saw this one message where, and I know I loved him the most, the best, and he was never able to forget it because I just loved him, and I didn't know who he was or any of it. You know what I mean? And but I do remember a message where somebody said, "You were the only one that didn't ask him for anything." And I did actually ask him for the Suburban because I had just wrecked a car, which maybe that and the Deftones, I was trying to locate what year that was, but I think it probably was around 2011 when stuff started to get worse and worse and worse in my life. And but I do remember asking him for the Suburban rental. He says, "It's rental, sure," but of course, like, that really wouldn't have worked out for me to keep that Suburban. Or maybe it wasn't a rental and he was just willing to give me a vehicle. I don't know. Like, it had all them computer screens in it. I should have asked for that Inc. 45, right? Protect myself. Anywho. I guess say anywho, because I got some curlers in my hair. Like I'm Sally Who. The sour sweet wind begins a howling, and the sour sweet wind is a howling and starting to howl. So this girl's gotta get her rescue or get on and out of here and fully fucking disappear and go to a protected place with a protected organization, if indeed one exists. I've got a couple of leads of where to start, but not like I'm gonna drop them here. I know better. No, I've risked a lot. I know maybe you've risked a lot, and maybe you are risking a lot to do the right thing. I can only hope, twin. But I've also risked a lot to make my whereabouts known to you, and to give you the opportunity to fulfill your divine contract and your divine destiny, and become the shining, beautiful, humble, influential person that you really truly want to be. And what is holding you back, especially now, and causing you to clown out, was the fact that you did allow the puppet strings and the narcissistic family influences to influence you, and you made the wrong choice, and look what has happened. But I guess you needed to learn that, right? I guess we had to go through what we had to go through. But I honestly believe something else was supposed to happen last holiday. And I know it inside. And I know the connection that we were having and how much it was growing. And so I know that, like, interference from the other side had to become so much stronger, So anyways, I want to sing. And then, of course, I was feeling real heavy and the evil eye was strong. But you're defeated. I'm going to continue to put myself out there. And if you go down with him and y'all go down together, and that's what you all choose, to not do the right thing and not recompense it and not have any honor and go out like that, then I'm doing this to set myself up for an adequate replacement. And no karmic. I know that there are multiple karmics coming up against me now. Multiple karmics, multiple situations, many people chasing this girl because they've all been clued into the hit on this girl's head. It's fucking ridiculous. So yeah, either someone's gonna do the right thing or I'm going to go to protective custody. Adeste Fideles.